Morning and welcome to the shed. You might have noticed I've got a new channel name, The Shed Project. So yeah, another nice day. Looks like it's clouding over a bit, but nice day. Another day closer to my haircut. Got up this morning, looked like a mad professor. I might take a photo next time. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the whole mould making business because I've done it. I have created a much better mould box. Even got some chamfers on the edges. Unfortunately the wood's a bit tat because it's splitting, which doesn't make it easy, but anyway, it's much better, it's deeper, so I can now pour the final resin or final silicone pour. So the plan today is to basically get this finished. I'm not going to do it all on video because I just want to get it done. Briefly show you what I've done. Created the box, got the mould sitting in there, one half. We're going to create the second half. I've made this template which will fit in there, hopefully. It does fit in there. That'll basically thin out the amount of lead needed, and then I'm going to fill this with some modelling clay, again to try and get a bit of a concave curve on there, again to save on lead. So yeah, had another brainwave today. Struggle with getting the stuff out the mould out of the box. So I thought I'd use the old battery trick, put a bit of ribbon under it, so when that comes to pulling it out, should be easy. Okay, let's see how we get on. When I come back to you, the mould will already be done and we'll be ready to do the pour. I have bought some lead. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Oh, bloody hell. 9 kilos in ingot form, which should make it easier. But I'm going to have to try and find a bulk supplier because, yeah, it's expensive stuff. The whole thing's expensive, really. I can't wait to get that royalty check from YouTube. Okay, let's crack on. Thanks a lot. I did say I wasn't going to show you the build process of the mould, but I just wanted to show you a couple of things. One is that I've put this inset into place now into my mould case. I have used modelling clay to try and fill out the back of the lead face, because that would be a lot of lead, it'd be very heavy, so I'm quite pleased with that. Also had another brainwave. I'm getting quite good at this. I put some cling film in there to stop the clay attaching itself to the other half of the silicone mould, so I don't have to spend hours cleaning that up. The other thing I've done, because this mould is going to be quite thin and lead is very dense and very heavy, to try and keep its structure, I've created a back plate. Look at this. Even measured out the holes, countersunk them. I'm going to pour the silicone in there. I am going to wait for my glass beads, I've decided, and then I'm going to push that down on top. A bit of the silicone's going to bubble up through there, and my mould will have a nice secure firm back to it. Pretty good, huh? One more thing to show you. I've soldered the pipe. This will be the feed pipe for the water, 10mm copper pipe. Reasonable job of soldering it. Didn't really know if it was the right solder I was using, but yeah, I mean it doesn't actually matter because it's going to be sunk into the lead anyway, but yeah, cool, quite happy with that. I'm also trying out my new tripod. When I say new, it was a gift from a friend of mine, Simon, thank you. He's had it in his shed for 100 years, but it does the job beautifully. No more shaky videos. I've added a couple of extra features while I was waiting for the silicone to arrive. Got a bit impatient. I've already shown you this back plate, but I'm going to make another one of those for the front, or a front plate, just to give it strength. I've added a channel here for the copper pipe, because I realised that wouldn't have been encased in lead. That would have ended up encased in where the silicone would be, so I had to do that. And then I have added 4 plates to the back of the mould, or to the back of the lead plate, and that's for when we screw it to the wall. So I needed, otherwise if I left it with just the border, it would have bent the lead. I have mixed up 450 of the silicone, and I have added 150 of the glass beads. That kind of takes it to the max of what the my mixer can cope with. It's starting to labour a bit, it was. Okay, so I'm just filling in the gap there. And then I've got a load of these bits which I'm going to add in this bulky bit here. In fact, I've got 60 grams here. Now, I can already see that I'm not going to have enough mixture, but this should help a little bit. Oops. The idea is that these will be embedded in the mould and you won't see them. That's the idea. Okay, we can pour the rest. These things can go out of the way. I can see I'm going to have to mix up a bit more. That's okay. I knew it would need a lot. I was right. So for the glass beads, I've gone for a 3:1 ratio this time, because it was just a bit too thick the last time. Blimey, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, let's go again. So my mixer's given up. I think I've stripped the gears on it. I'll have to try and find another one. Okay, so I'm finishing it off by hand. Too much, I think. Just too much for it. Okay, here we go. This could be fun. I'm hoping that a little bit of that will squeeze up through the holes and lock it in position. A little bit more. I think that'll do it. Come back to you when that's set. I'm going to give that a good 4 or 5 hours to cure, because we don't want to get that wrong. That used a lot more mixture than I thought it was going to. Okay, it's been a few hours now. The mould is cured. I've opened up the door because I'm getting a bit of a weird light. Now I'm getting it from over there, but yeah. Okay, so mould's out. It looks like it's going to split okay because I've started it but I haven't actually done it. So this is the original bit of the mould, the front as it were. So that's still as it was. Do need to strengthen that up somehow. Need to strengthen this up. That's too sloppy at the moment. Probably do that next. And then this is how am I going to do this? So I've made a couple of updates to the mould. It's now ready to go. Yeah, the top half, or the back, came out okay. A little bit of cleaning up needed, possibly, although that will come off after the first pour. I've made a couple of adaptations to my box, added a hole for the copper pipe, and that now goes into the back of the mask, or the lady, goddess. I've added a breather hole and a pour hole, and I realised that once I've got my mould in place. I can't tell whether the mould is sealed properly, so I have added inspection holes so I can check that the mould is properly tightened up. So I'm going to get that warmed up, get some lead on, and I think we're going to go for a pour. I've got a feeling that I'll have to recycle the first one. I've just got a feeling it won't quite work right, but let's give it a go. So I've cleared my space. My mould's all ready to accept the warm silicone. I've got my pouring jig set up. It's going to be quite heavy, this, so I'm a little bit worried about that. The lead is currently melting. As soon as that starts going, I'll get my moulds in and get it all set up. Let's see what happens. Okay. That, my friends, is it. What do you reckon? That took about 3 kilos of lead, which I reckon is about right. I can't see any in that side. Right, I'm going to go and make a cup of tea, let that cool. So that's had about 30 minutes or so at least to cool down. I must admit I'm pretty nervous about how this can turn out. We did get a lot of lead in there, so I think it must be close to full. I'm a bit worried about the thickness of the actual plate. I think it might be, I think it might have moved. But we're about to find out. I promise I haven't had a look at this yet, so you will see it at the same time as me, kind of. Here we go. This is the back you'll see first. Oh, what a fail. Total fail. Not even half full. Okay, we go again. Might at least give me a few clues as to what went wrong. My hole must be too small. Okay, so after our fail yesterday, I've been thinking about what I need to do. I realised I'm not getting the lead hot enough, which is, I basically just heated it up until it melted. I needed to give it a bit more temperature because it's going into the mould and then straight away solidifying. So that was problem A. Problem B was that my hole into the top of the mould wasn't big enough, and I was trying to pour, eye of the needle kind of thing. So I made it a bit bigger and then realised that actually I need to do more. So I thought about doing like a tin funnel made out of a tin can. But then I came up with this, which is because I slept on it overnight. I thought, I'll just make a silicone mould. So I made this mould here. Okay, we're ready for another reveal. So since I was last here, I failed miserably. I forgot to clamp up the mould properly, and 2 kilos of lead poured all over me bench because it's split. Okay, so I poured it again. I don't think that this is quite, I don't think I had quite enough lead, which is a bit of a worry because I'm almost at the maximum of the amount of lead I can handle. Let's take the lid off, and it's a fail. Bloody hell. It's a big fail. Where's all this lead going then? Okay, back to the drawing board again. I think I might have bitten off a bit more than I can chew with this project. The amount of lead I'm using is just beyond the amounts that I can get away with. Okay, well, we're going to have to try and find a way of getting more lead going, or thinning the mould down even more. I think that might be the answer. In good news, still red hot, the leaves are going to look amazing if I ever do get it finished, but not looking very promising at the moment. I think one of the problems I'm having is because I'm pouring it upright, it's just not infiltrating in the right way. I wonder if I should switch to pouring from the back into the middle of this first, possibly even in two sections. Fill this bit and then that bit. That might put the right pressure on the mould. Probably a bit too thick as well, the mould. Disappointing. Here's an interesting thing. Just pulled the mould out of its case. Found a load of lead in the back there. So maybe that's why we didn't have enough. Anyway, we're going to restructure the mould. Oh God, there's loads in here. Look at this. Okay. So yeah, we're going to restructure this mould. Try a different approach, see if I can work out what the hell is going on. Could still be a fail, could still be a success. I think maybe I've bitten off a bit more than I can chew with this one, but I don't like to be defeated. Okay, back to you in a bit. So I've done another pour. I've drilled 4 holes in the back of the mould, and I've gone in from the back. So it looks a little bit, at least I've got some overflow, so something's filled up. I'm not sure if the whole mould has filled up. I think it's unlikely that I'll have it all the way around the end, but it looks a bit more promising. I'm going for a cup of tea, let that cool down, see how we get on. This is the final one. If this doesn't look promising, then I think I will shelve this project for a little while. Right, here we go for another reveal. I can't even remember how many I've done. I think this is 3 today. So I'm not expecting this to be perfect, but if it proves that the back pouring method is better, that would be good. So I think I can probably do it like this. I'll just lift off the old mould. No, that's a fail as well. Okay. I just think I must have too fine a gap in between the... Okay. Alright, so that's another fail. I think I'm going to leave this project for now and come back to it when I feel a bit more confident, or when I've worked out what's going wrong. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Limited success, or in fact limited failure really. It's showing promise, but for some reason the mould is just not taking the lead correctly. I think it might be too thin, or something's not right. Also, the amount of lead that I'm having to manage is getting a bit scary. I can hardly lift it, so I might need to rig up something where I'm heating the lead and can pour at the same time. The pouring's good, but it's the lifting that's not very good. Okay, so I'm going to shelve this for a bit, come back to it in a week or two, and get on with do some smaller successful projects. But I've learnt loads, so that's the good thing. So yeah, great. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You might have seen I've got a new logo. I think it's down here, which is the maker's mark that I made in a video earlier this week. Thanks very much. See you soon.